Hey everyone, it's Pete here again, and today I wanted to go over these two prefabs that I just published. They're both for doors that are hackable, which you can see here with the button. So I'm going to just explain kind of what's going on with them, how you can use them, just things you need to know about them for anyone that decides to use these on their maps. This one here is very similar to Fragmentation's hackable doors. You'll see that when I do the demo on it, but I think this one's probably cooler than the other one, but I think they have their own uses, so it's up to you. This one is just single door, and the way it's set up right now, it's basically like you could open it and get through it, but once you leave this boundary area and it shuts, if you're not on the side with the button, it's basically one-way door. You're stuck in there. But I'll show you in a sec too how you could just add another button if you want. Um, but let me show you how these doors work first, and then we'll go into a little bit more about them. So this first one, you're going to see a debug on the side, which is only for Forge. So we'll see it start counting. Um, in customs, you're actually going to get the objective banner that's going to display for you, and that'll give you an idea of how far you're along with the hack. This one right now is set for 30 seconds, and it's for some reason skipping the debug. Here we go. So 30 seconds elapsed, door opens. So it'll stay open as long as I'm inside the boundary. But if I go through, or even either way, if I come out of the boundary, you'll see it shuts. So it's as simple as that. This other one, it's actually got this red Forerunner door, which will despawn and spawn in the blue one that has the animation instantly as soon as it's done. So this one's only 10 seconds long, but then you get the cool animation with it. And this one's set up where it won't actually shut until you come out here and actually walk away from it. And it just kind of pops back in the red Forerunner door. The other thing to keep in mind, once you start this, if let's say you leave the area early, it cancels it out and it resets the timer. But if you have anyone in the game, whether they're on your team or not, still in the area, it'll keep that timer going. And then also, if anyone's inside the actual room, it'll keep that timer going as well. I think I must have stepped out of it because it stopped. But anyway, the cool thing too is you can change up the time. I'll show you where to go to do that. You can make it 2 minutes long if you wanted, and the objective banner will just automatically calculate your percentage completed based on the time. So um, should should be all set up to work for multiple players being involved, time changes, everything like that. So I'll show you in this door here. Up at the top, I have this one called time. Let's say we don't want it to be 30 seconds. Let's just change it down to 10 seconds. That's all I had to change. We'll load it up, and it'll be 10 seconds. And then I'm also going to show you, let's say you want another button to get out. I'll show you how to do that. There's the 10 seconds, door open. Okay. So keep in mind this boundary, it doesn't have to stay round, it can be a square. So you can just change that up, be it as big as or as small as you want. Like if you really want it to be teeny tiny, change this radius to like 10. And then you're gonna have to literally stay inside this teeny tiny boundary during the whole hack, which would make it a lot more difficult. You can't even really move around at all. Um, but let's look at if we wanted another button or switch, I guess. you could just, put it on the other side here, and we'll rotate it so it's easier to use. Oh, I need to actually have it selected, I'm sorry. Come down here to our button. So if you want it to work the same way where you have to hack it from the other side, you're going to just essentially copy these two parts right here. I guess I duplicated all of it. But basically what the switch does is it has this thing that's running every second regardless. And what it does is it switches it's the is hacking right here, okay, to true. So once is hacking is true, it will start our countdown. So there's that one. This side, there's a little bit more going on. This first area, you can see I called it hack area. This is the area you have to stay inside while it's hacking. I have it kind of overlapping into the other boundary, so it's kind of hard to see, but let me show you. So the other boundary comes out this far. The reason I did that is so that when you leave this boundary and go into the inside boundary, it's going to basically recognize that you're still inside a boundary and it'll keep this door open. That way no one's getting stuck inside it where the door shuts on them. And then this boundary, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see where the corners are. Have them actually going through this whole wall. And that's because I want to make sure that it's always detecting if someone's inside the room and no one's going to get stuck. You can change this boundary size to fit your room on the inside. Just keep in mind you don't want to have areas where people could walk out of it, because what would happen is if someone tried to go into the boundary and hack it while someone was outside of it, or I'm sorry, if someone goes through this boundary and leaves it while someone's inside the room but outside of the other boundary, it would get them stuck inside. So, um, and this one, it's happening a little bit different. Instead of the door going up and down, as I mentioned before, you're spawning and despawning. So you spawn in one object and despawn the other, and vice versa when it opens and closes. Um, you could add another hack button on the inside. However, this one is technically set up where you don't need a button on the inside because it's going to stay open while you're in there. You can change the time on this one. The other thing I didn't mention quite yet, but let's say you don't really love this button and you'd rather a different button. It's gameplay. What is it? Scripting. Say you want an invisible button, okay? Go ahead and highlight your button that you want. Come in here and swap it out. And we'll put this button right on the door. So you don't have, you're not stuck with that button. The other thing too is this part is all just cosmetic, so technically none of this is needed. So feel free, modify it to fit your needs. I mostly just had that there to kind of portray the concept of how it works. Um, Actually, I'm not going to save this, but I'll jump into a customs here in a second and show you all what it looks like in customs.
Slayer.
All right, so here we are in customs, and what you'll notice is you get this objective banner. See at the bottom, it says hack 10 out of 100. So this one's set to 30 seconds, so it's only going up about 3 at a time. And then you notice if I back out, it just goes away, and I'm gonna have to restart that countdown. So anyway, this one's that many seconds. This one's set to 10 seconds because I didn't save what we had changed. So you notice how it's going up 10% every time. And so yeah, that's uh, the main visual to kind of help you understand what's going on. You also have hack complete that shows, and while you stay inside this boundary that's invisible right around me, it'll still show that, but as soon as you leave that, it'll go away. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of the door prefabs, and hopefully you guys can find some use in it and make something cool. I'd love to see what you use it for, so always feel free to tag me on Twitter or put a comment on the video. Um, but yeah, and also if you run into any questions, just feel free to leave comments or reach out to me. I'm available on a lot of the different platforms, and we'll see what we can do to help you out. So thanks for watching, and hope you have a wonderful day.